Of all the suicides that have been committed, 75 to 80% of all of those suicides are committed by men. And this is why we have figures like Andrew Tate that have gained a lot of influence over the last couple of years. The top 80% of women, they're actually competing for the top 20% of men, which means that the bottom 20% of women, they're competing for the bottom 80% of men. Today, I want to talk to you about a subject that has recently garnered a lot of attention, specifically in the last couple of years, but not a lot of action has been taken, specifically by men. I'm talking about loneliness in men, specifically young men. Now, to give you context of how deep of a problem this problem is, WHO has declared loneliness in men a global health concern. And not only that, but it has also stated that loneliness in men is as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Now, even if we did not have that particular fact with us, we can still understand how deep of a problem it is for men. Many young single men, they feel lonely. They are lonely. Why do young men feel lonely today more than ever before? So let us start off with the very first reason. Today we are living in times wherein we are living in nuclear families. Now, gone are the days wherein a lot of people, they used to believe in the concept of joint family. A lot of people, they move away from their cities, they move in metro cities, tier 1 cities, wherein they have to work, right? And as a result, they start off their own families. They start living in nuclear families. Both the parents are going out to work, they come back at night or in the evening. So if you are a single child, you know that you're living alone for a significant part of your day. You're spending time alone with yourself after you come back from school, right? You have 4, 5, 6 good hours wherein you are alone with yourself. Maybe you just, you go out for tuitions or maybe you go out to play, but remainder of that time you're spending with yourself at your home. And now this causes a lot of trouble for young men, specifically if you're in your teenage years, right? If you're in your teenage years, you're more prone to picking up habits that will eventually impact you in the future, specifically watching porn. Now, watching porn has a long-term consequence. If you're getting into this habit, this may impact you, this will impact you over a longer period of time, and specifically more than ever today, because now we're exposed to this on social media platforms as well. Even if it's not hardcore porn, you're still exposed to, obscene scenes, movies that you shouldn't be watching. You're still getting all of that online on social media platforms, on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere else. So living in a nuclear family, not being looked after for a larger part of your day, for a significant part of your day, can lead for you to pick up not only those habits that will eventually have a long-term bad impact on your health, both mental and physical, but also make you lonely from inside, because you're not around people. You're just immersed in your own life. You're immersed in social media, on the internet, right? And we're going to talk about social media later as well in this video. Another reason is moving away from your family for higher studies or work, right? When you're moving away from your family, specifically if you're coming from a tier 2 or tier 3 city, and if you're moving to a tier 1 city, now you will notice that there's a sort of a cultural shock there, right? Because tier 2 and tier 3 cities, they're close knit. You're coming from a close knit community wherein everyone knows each other, right? So there's that. Now you're moving to a tier 1 city wherein everyone is working in an individualistic way. No one really cares about the other person. It's a fast-paced life as compared to a slow-paced life in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So you will feel difficult at that point of time to basically connect with more and more people, because usually you can only connect with people that you associate with and that you can relate to. But if you're not able to relate to those people, you feel that disbalance, or you will find some sort of difficulty in adjusting in that particular environment, which again will make you feel lonely, that you do not belong there, or that you should be somewhere else, but then you still have to be there because of your commitments, because of the responsibilities of your life, right? You have to be there. Now, in addition to the same particular point, once you move away from your family and friends, you're moving to a different city altogether, you drift apart from your family and friends. So what happens is that you're unable to find new friends because of the reasons that I stated earlier, right? And this is also what is leading to what is known as friendship recession. Now, what is friendship recession? Now, as per several studies, let me first clarify that these studies are particularly related to American men, but they also, I believe, they apply to men around the world, because human behavior is similar across the world. So as per this particular study, men today, they have fewer close friends as compared to women. And not only that, but men today, they have few close friends compared to men 30 years ago. So not only do we have less number of friends today as compared to women, but also men, older men, 30 years older to us. So what has happened in these 30 years? I believe that a major role to play over here is that of social media. And let me get in depth, and also how COVID-19 has also played a significant role. Friendship recession, it grew around or after COVID-19 because we were so immersed in our lives. We had to stay at our homes, so we lost touch with our friends in reality. Obviously, we connected with them on call or video calls or online, right? But that's a totally different way of connecting as compared to connecting with someone in real life. Men, they do not go out much, they do not talk about their feelings much, because one, we are conditioned or wired in that way that we do not have to talk much about our feelings. Men are supposed to not talk about their feelings, they're not supposed to show emotions. We have been conditioned over the years, over decades, and even centuries that we are not supposed to talk about a lot of our feelings and emotions, because that is not just what men do. So that is one aspect of it. The other part is that we do not want to bother other people with our stories or our emotions and feelings, because we believe that we don't want to burden them with our emotions. And at the same time, we also think that it is also coming from a point wherein everyone has their own problems, their own set of problems, and that is not going to do much for our own sake, for our own mental health or well-being. We are going to blurt it out on them. We are going to vent out our emotions and feelings onto other people who are also going through similar things. Also, a part of it comes from the first point that I mentioned, that men are wired in a way that wherein we are not supposed to share our emotions and feelings with others. This also leads for us to believe that we are going to be mocked, we are going to be made fun of, because we are going to share our feelings and because of the way that we're feeling, right? That totally depends on how you want to perceive it, whether you perceive that as a negative or a positive, because you also need to understand that most people, they do not care about your life, right? Most people, apart from your parents, obviously your parents, they've given everything to you. Apart from that, no one else is going to care for you. Maybe your siblings, but that's it. Or cousins, if you're really sharing that particular strong bond with them. No one else is coming to save your life. You have to do things on your own. You have responsibilities on your head. Maybe you have not become successful at that point of time, and you want to really be successful because of the way that we're conditioned. And let me come to the social media aspect of it, because I believe that social media over here, it has allowed us to believe that we're living in a perfect world, wherein whatever we are seeing, let's say we are following our friends on social media platforms, specifically Instagram, wherein everyone is putting their photos and videos of living a perfect life. They're going abroad, they're doing all sorts of things that are positive for their own lives. And what happens is that we're basically comparing our lives with their life, and they're feeling miserable and sorry for the way that we're living. We want to live like them. We want to go out, we want to travel the world, we want to do things that everyone else is doing, but we fail to understand the simple fact that no one is posting their failures online. No one is posting their drawbacks, their bad aspect of their lives. So this is what we really need to understand, that everyone has a difficult part of their lives as well that no one wants to share. Really, that part has to be there, and we believe that everything we see online is the reality, everything on social media is reality, whereas it is not. We need to understand that all of us go through similar emotions, and what we feel is true may not actually be true based on what we're seeing. That way, social media has played a negative role in people's life. And not only that, what is happening is that a lot of men, they're comfortable with making friends online. They're not comfortable with going out and talking to new people. And this is what a major part of a problem also is. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with making friends online, but what I'm saying is that if you're not going out and meeting more and more people, that is going to affect your mental health so much, because you're only stuck in one place. You're not going out, you're not moving, you're not meeting new friends. So that is going to take a toll on your mental health. As much as you love making friends online, but also go out and meet people, talk to people, maybe talk to your parents to begin with, your siblings and your cousins. If you've lost that touch with them, start there so that you feel better about yourself, because all you're doing is you're making a virtual reality for yourself, which at some point will end. You will have to come out of it. You cannot sustain a life just on social media. If you keep on running away from reality and get indulged and immersed in this virtual world, that is going to make you feel bad about yourself. But that is not how life is supposed to be. And what happens is that the more we indulge in social media platforms, the more we immerse ourselves in this virtual world, it is cutting us off from reality, right? We are now stuck on our screens 24/7, right from the moment that we wake up till the moment that we go back to our sleep, to an extent that this is not allowing us to have a proper sleep as well. We don't want to go out. We feel like staying in bed all day long. We feel like scrolling through social media platforms, and we're negative all the time. And this is a leading cause of depression. Loneliness leads to depression. This causes suicides. Here, just to give you a fact about this, of all the suicides that have been committed, 75 to 80% of all of those suicides are committed by men. This is how severe this problem of loneliness is amongst men, which most people fail to understand. Men are going through a lot of issues that we do not talk about on a daily basis. We are struggling with our own thoughts. We are fighting our daily battles that we do not talk about, or not even to our friends, let alone our parents. We are not even living. We are existing at this point of time. Many of us, many young men are just existing. We want to get rid of the way that we're thinking, but we are unable to get out of a bed. We are unable to talk to people. We are unable to make other people understand whatever we are going through. Oftentimes, we fail to see what's right in front of us because we don't want to go beyond, that surface level understanding of how the other person is. And that too, a large extent, as I mentioned earlier, is also on the conditioning of men. It is harder to break that wall of, you letting out your feelings in front of others. And this is why we have figures like Andrew Tate that have gained a lot of influence over the last couple of years. And keeping aside all the controversies that man has been involved in, or his brother has been involved in, let us understand why his messaging is so inspiring, specifically amongst young men. It is not just because, both of them, they're articulate, they're able to convey their message in a very clear and simple manner. The case over here is that most young men, they do not receive the advice that they're receiving from the Tate brothers. They're not getting this advice from the male figures in their life. They're not getting this advice from their parents, their father specifically, or grandfather, or any other major male figure in their life. We know that, we need this advice. We're not getting it from anywhere else. So someone who's giving this particular advice to us, we tend to take it from that side. This is why Tate is so influential at this point of time. You do not have to agree 100% with him, or me for that matter. You do not have to agree with me or him or any other figure in this world 100%. You just have to take the good parts of their advice, leave the bad ones aside, right? Everyone has something to teach. When you look at the messaging of Tate to young men, he's talking about how you need to be successful, how you need to be physically fit and healthy. You need to live a life of responsibility. You need to be accountable for your actions. You have to be a figure that everyone else can rely on. This is a clear signal to young men that are struggling right now to actually come out of their phase, the negativities of their life, to actually work on and focus on themselves. And this is what is lacking amongst young men today. We're not taking action and accountability for our own actions, or we're blaming others. If you're someone who's constantly blaming someone else for the problems of your life, then you're never going to be in the right state of mind. You can never come out of it. You're always going to be victimizing yourself, and this is something that you need to get out of if you actually want to do something in your life. If you want to take that first step, get out of the victim mindset. You're not a victim, but you're a victim of your own thoughts. There is nothing wrong with this particular messaging. I'm not talking about anything controversial that this figure has done, and that is not the purpose of this video as well. But just take the good parts of it, leave the bad ones aside. Coming back again to the same point that, social media, it has taken our ability to actually make real life connections from us, right? We're much more comfortable texting someone on WhatsApp or Instagram as compared to us actually going out and meeting someone and greeting them with a hi or a hello. It's much more difficult in a real life situation to connect with someone as compared to someone online. Our touch from reality is slowly fading away the more time we spend on social media platforms. In addition to this, I also believe that dating apps are also somewhat responsible for this. Now, as I mentioned earlier that, social media has taken away our ability to converse with people in real life. This is also partly due to the role that is being played by dating apps. It is much more easier to match with someone online or right swipe someone online as compared to having a conversation with a person in real life. And when we actually look at the statistics, the top 80% of women, they're actually competing for the top 20% of men, which means that the bottom 20% of women, they're competing for the bottom 80% of men. So you see how tough at this point of time it is as a man to match with someone or to, find a date online. This is how difficult it is for men because there's so much competition online, which is why it is also important that you go out and meet people in real life, because all of that competition is moving away. And also when you talk to people in real life, you will feel much more confident about yourself. If you're you're constantly looking for friends online, you're not going out because you're shy or you feel that other people won't like you. So this also is a sign of underconfidence, which you can only overcome if you actually start meeting people in real life situations. So if you're not in the top 20% of men, it is going to be much harder for you to actually find a partner online. Even if a woman is in the bottom 20%, she will still likely find a partner for herself as compared to a man who is in the bottom 80% of men. This hyper competitive online dating game is also responsible for men being lonely, men being unhappy with their lives. Now, yet another reason that I want to talk about, and this is specifically, I believe, true for the Indian men, which is that many men, what they do right after they graduate or they pass high school is that they start appearing for competitive exams, and they do it for years and years and years, locking themselves in and just studying and focusing on their studies. And what that does is that they're not connected with the world outside, and that could happen even to their own family members. They could lose conversations, the connections in their own family. At the moment when you're studying for exams and just focusing on your life, it may feel like what you're doing is much more important than anything else in life, and which is also somewhat true, that your career is important. But at the same time, if you do not converse with people, if you do not interact with people, that exam, even if you clear it, that is still going to make it difficult for you to actually make connections. If you develop this ability to converse with people, to connect with people, that will help you achieve 10 times the things that you would if you just keep on working or focusing on your subjects. If you're someone who's feeling stuck in life, if you're someone who's feeling lonely, if you're someone who's feeling depressed, you have to try getting out of your shell. You have to start working on your health, walk in the nature. If you cannot go to the gym, just go out for a walk. Before meeting new people, try connecting with your old connections. Try connecting with your childhood friends, your college friends. That is going to help you out a lot. Then start meeting new people. Read books that will help you come out of your shell. These are some of the simple pieces of advice that will certainly help you. The moment that you start seeing one aspect of your life improving, it will also eventually lead for you to improve other aspects of your life. By the time you know it, you'll already be more confident in yourself. And when you're in a room full of people, if you read well, if you're taking care of your physical health as well as mental health, if you're working on your career, if you're working on all of these aspects slowly one by one, that is going to put you in places that you can never have even imagined in your life. With that being said, let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you found this video valuable, please share this video with your friends and family. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you do not miss our new videos. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you have a great day.